A buffalo is trapped under a crashed helicopter, unable to free itself and continuously emitting low, mournful groans. Weaver, seeing the pitiful sight, doesn't hesitate to start helping the buffalo out of its predicament. However, as much as she tries, the helicopter is not something a single person, let alone a woman, can move. Just when Weaver feels utterly powerless, the helicopter is lifted by some unseen force. Startled, Weaver looks up to see a nearly 30-meter-tall gorilla appearing before her. This is the formidable King Kong, the giant gorilla who dares to defy heaven and earth. Weaver, facing the towering creature, can't help but show a scared expression. However, Kong does not harm her. He leaves the scene with a slightly angry expression. Before this encounter, a series of twisty tales unfold. The whole story starts with an idea from the archaeologist Bill, who discovers an unknown island in the Pacific. He applies to the senator for permission to explore the island. Despite Bill's exaggeration of the island's potential resources, the senator refuses. Just as Bill is about to give up, his assistant has a brainwave. He mentions that the Soviet Union has set its sights on the island, and if they forego the exploration, they might just hand it over to the Soviets. Though somewhat of a bluff, this convinces the senator, who promptly agrees to Bill's request. To ensure safety during the exploration, Bill specifically requests military support. This helicopter squadron is commanded by a colonel. They also hire the adventure expert James, the photographer Weaver, and the biologist San. Together, they form an exploration team and set off towards their goal. However, the island, shrouded by storms year-round and known as Skull Island, is perilous to enter. Flying through the clouds, any mistake could be fatal, but Preston, the soul of the helicopter squadron, fully demonstrates his extraordinary leadership. Under his careful navigation, all helicopters successfully traverse the storm and arrive at this mysterious island. Rarely trodden by humans, everyone is awestruck by the beauty before them. As if they've entered a paradise, the tense atmosphere from before instantly dissipates. But Preston has no time to appreciate the scenery. He orders the squadron to split up and take action. Then, they start setting off seismic charges, a massive explosion scattering across the island. It's meant to help geologists survey the terrain, but it's not a one-off task. While some soldiers enjoy the thrill of the explosion, a massive tree trunk suddenly flies towards them. Then, a gigantic hand reaches towards the helicopter, and the soldiers, failing to grab the handrail, fall directly into Kong's mouth. The next moment, the rest of the soldiers, seeing the giant creature, are in disbelief. But reality quickly sets in, and they open fire on Kong. The bullets rain down like a storm, but Kong doesn't fall. Instead, he seizes the opportunity to destroy a helicopter with a single punch. Even soldiers attempting to rescue the injured are flattened by Kong's mighty hand. Preston, witnessing this, rushes forward, but Kong remains unfazed, easily dodging the attack. Preston's helicopter collides with others, showing Kong's strategic prowess. Then, he grabs an ammunition-filled helicopter, using it to wipe out the remaining aircraft. The squadron is decimated, leaving only a few survivors. Watching Kong tear apart helicopters, Preston is consumed with a desire for vengeance. But Kong doesn't continue his rampage. Instead, he lets Preston and the others leave as a small act of retribution. The survivors are scattered in 3 groups: Preston's team, a group of soldiers, and James's exploration team. Using radios, they try to regroup, but Skull Island isn't just home to Kong. The separated teams are about to face new dangers. One soldier, about to quench his thirst, looks up in horror. Before he can alert his team, he's killed on the spot. The rest realize that a giant spider, its legs camouflaged as bamboo, has been lurking above them. They attack, but the spider extends sticky tendrils, capturing one soldier. To avoid friendly fire, another soldier cuts the spider's leg with a knife. They find an effective method to combat the spider, which releases the trapped soldier in pain. Now vulnerable, the soldiers target the spider's belly. Under heavy fire, the spider collapses. Preston, the leader, approaches the spider and ends its life with a few shots. In this dangerous jungle, more unknown threats await, but this doesn't deter Preston from his mission. The second group fares worse. All the soldiers who crashed with them are dead, leaving one survivor. He washes his wounds by a river, but soon hears a massive noise. Looking up, he sees the 30-meter-tall Kong. Terrified, the soldier hides behind a rock. and Kong doesn't notice him. Kong examines his wounds. Despite defeating Preston's squadron, he's significantly injured. Suddenly, Kong seems to notice something and grabs a long tentacle. An aggressive octopus, hidden in the area, had wrapped its tentacles around Kong, trying to strangle him. With an angry roar, Kong crushes the octopus's head underfoot, then tears off a tentacle and starts eating. The soldier witnesses the entire brutal scene. He wouldn't dare oppose Kong again. Kong, dragging his trophy, leaves the area. The soldier tries to contact Preston but receives no response. Suddenly, the ground beneath him moves. It's another unknown giant creature. Terrified, the soldier shoots, but the creature, seemingly spooked, leaves. The soldier turns his head, only to meet his end. Meanwhile, James's team, led by the experienced explorer, avoids the jungle's dangers and stumbles upon a human settlement. Weaver takes out her camera to take pictures, but is startled by something. A group of camouflaged natives surrounds them, spears in hand. Just as a battle seems imminent, the natives' elders step forward, accompanied by a modern man. Through his persuasion, both sides lower their weapons. It turns out Hank has lived here for 29 years. He was an Air Force pilot who crashed here during World War II and has since made it his home. He wants to return home, but the island's dangers are too great for him to leave alone. The arrival of James and his team reignites his hope of leaving. He leads them to his modified boat, a transformed version of the plane he crashed in. After 16 years of work, it's now a small vessel capable of long voyages. After bidding farewell to the natives who sheltered him for decades, they set off. On the river, they encounter Icarus wings, a group of predatory, primitive birds unique to Skull Island. Though small, they're formidable flyers and hunters. The team attempts to shoot, but it's too late. They can only watch as a teammate is killed. To escape the island quickly, James's team finds the scattered Colonel Preston. They hope to leave, but Preston insists on continuing the search for his scattered soldiers. He won't abandon his men until he sees their bodies. They proceed to the location, encountering massive bones along the way. One soldier lights a cigarette, unaware that the smoke is flammable. The explosion attracts the island's most sinister creature. Hearing the noise, everyone quickly hides, and the monster doesn't notice them. Suddenly, it starts vomiting inexplicably on the spot. A human skeleton, digested by the creature, is spat out, along with a deformed dog tag of a soldier Preston was searching for. After finishing, the monster leaves the area, and the people slowly emerge, only for the unlucky Bill to be swallowed whole. The soldiers react and open fire, but the bullets do little. The giant lizard disappears into the smoke, but it doesn't leave. It reappears. One soldier takes out a flamethrower. Under the intense fire, the monster is distressed and lashes out with its long tail, hitting a soldier aside. As the giant lizard wreaks havoc, the clever Weaver has an idea. She throws a lighter into the flammable smoke, causing a huge explosion. As the smoke clears, the lizard struggles and eventually dies there. Preston, finding the dog tag of the soldier he sought, decides to continue forward instead of retreating. So many of his men died on Skull Island, all because of Kong's appearance. Preston won't rest until Kong is dead, but as the leader here, the soldiers can only obey his orders. At night, they set up an ambush and scatter explosives in the forest, soon luring Kong out. Preston is fully prepared. As Kong approaches, he ignites gasoline in the water. The fire quickly engulfs Kong, and soon he falls, severely injured. Just as Preston is about to finish Kong, James stops him, remembering why Kong fought in the first place. It was because the people bombed the island. Kong, though he destroyed all the aircraft, didn't continue his rampage. Instead, he chose to coexist peacefully with humans, seeking to protect his homeland. As the standoff continues, another giant lizard, grieving its mate, appears. It's stronger, and everyone flees, except Preston, who refuses to leave, still wanting revenge on Kong. But a recovered Kong kills Preston with a punch. Kong, though in bad shape, delays the lizard, giving people time to escape. However, by night, the lizard catches up. As it bares its fangs, Kong, holding a rock, descends from above. The lizard, strong as well, bites Kong's neck but gets caught. Kong, injured and unable to exert full strength, is thrown aside. Several decaying warships in the area, with their chains, entangle Kong. In this critical moment, the humans start assisting. Bullets rain on the lizard, causing significant distraction. Kong stands up from the rubble, breaks free from the chains, and wields a sharp propeller, striking the lizard. He tries to strangle it with the chain, but the lizard's strength is immense. Kong, getting up, uses the propeller as a weapon. Even so, he doesn't finish it off until he pulls out its tongue, emptying its innards. With the lizard's defeat, the crisis ends. Kong turns to the humans, as if to say, "If you don't provoke me, I won't provoke you," then leaves. But a helicopter squadron, responding to a distress call, arrives again. Kong, seeing the helicopters, is troubled. A new battle is about to begin.